Good morning, guys. It's Ella and Jayda, and we're going to be talking about how other people's words have an effect on you and how the generations have really just changed over time and how people used to deal with things versus how they do now.
Yeah, my parents, like high school experience versus mine, I feel like a lot of times there was no like talking crap on your friends, and like it wasn't like getting caught talking crap. Like if that happened, then you would have like a legitimate conversation with them instead of like your first thought being like, oh, I hate this person now. Like it's just going to be really awkward and like, or I want to fight them. Like I feel like that happens a lot, especially in our school, where it's just like whenever you hear about a fight, it's not really like what happened, it's more like what did they say,
like she said, he said,
Mhm.
like all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Like it's never like,
yeah
you know, like it's kind of hard to trust people like after like so much stuff has happened like in our school or like with you and like your relationships or like your friends. I feel like it's just like hard
yeah
to even be able to trust people because like I can also see the other person's side, but like people like need to know the full story first
yeah
before like I've personally done that like myself, like I've learned off of it. Like everyone like makes mistakes, like it's high school, like that's gonna happen, but like
yeah Sometimes like if I like hear about something that has happened to me or like was said about me, instead of like going and texting the person and like immediately going off on them, like I take a second to realize like people do spread rumors just to make other people mad or to like cause stuff because like they see that you're in a healthy relationship with a friend and they want to ruin that. And that has happened with many times, like not even just with myself, with other people. And like it's really just you need to think about, instead of going off on this person, I'm just going to come up to them, because if you are like nice and legitimate and saying like, oh, like is this true, then you have a better chance of them like coming out to you and saying, oh yeah, I said that, I'm sorry, versus if you like are screaming at them, cussing them out, then they're not going to want to tell you the truth because you're already mad. So it's just like taking the time and like realizing like who you're talking to. I think another issue that like we deal with in this generation, or just like in high school in general, is people always like bullying others or saying stuff about others, not knowing at all what they're going through.
people are like I feel like very, very misjudged sometimes on like the person that they are. Like maybe that's not the case for like all the time, but like most of the time, like it really is. And I feel like people walk around in school and they just look at someone and then they just, if they don't like what they see, they think the worst, or like, oh, you're like not small enough, you weigh too much, you're not pretty enough. But like that's not what always matters. Like that doesn't, like
Mm-hmm.
people should be judging people like off of their personality.
Just how they treat others in general.
Yeah, just how they treat others and stuff. And like everyone has their own opinions and you're like entitled to your own opinion, but just because you're like thinking something negative of someone doesn't mean you go around spreading rumors about them, saying stuff to their face that's not true. Like I feel like that's like, as like a teenage girl, that is like something a lot of teenage girls severely like need to realize and understand and like work on. Throughout my high school experience, I've never been like a school kind of person. Like I've never been the type of person to just wake up and be like, oh, like I'm excited to go to school, because I've been in so many situations where things were said about me that weren't true. And like at the time, like I was already going through a hard time, and like people just made it worse even though like they didn't realize it. But when I grew from that and I realized that like you don't need to hold a grudge like against someone forever. Like you can forgive them, but you don't have to forget. Like, I'm like not personally going, I never personally went out of my way to spread rumors about people who did to me. Like, I dealt with it, I took it in, and I just learned who like my real friends were and who weren't. And I think that like a big part of like whenever stuff gets like said about you and you get like upset about it, I feel like the biggest part of like healing from it is like forgiveness, and like knowing knowing yourself and staying true to yourself, because only like you know what you go through, only you know what has happened, like only you know what's true.
Yeah, I also, like, I totally agree with everything that you're saying, but like going off of what you were saying about like you know what you're going through and you know like your worth, your friends, like you may like tell your friends everything and like you always have your bestest of friends, and those are the people that matter. Like, I know multiple times in multiple situations I care more about what the negative people have to say about me more than my best friends. Like,
Right.
like saying that like they think that I'm gorgeous and pretty, and like they think that I'm like muscular, like all of this, and I do sports, but like I hear like voices, the other people saying like, oh, she's like lazy, she's, you know, like she doesn't work hard enough, and
Yeah.
I worry more about that than who the people that actually care about me. And I think we need to focus more on the people who do love us, because the ones who are just trying to get a reaction out of us, like they don't really matter.
Right. One last thing that I wanted to bring up was about how like your friends, the people that like you're around, really have an effect on you. Like the way that your friends act, the way that your friends, whatever they do, like it does have an impact on you in like the way you think and the way you view people and like the way you view certain people. Like, I've been in friendships where everyone is just like talking like crap or like bad about like each other, but they're also friends, and like that's the situations that I mostly got put in, because each one of them would come and talk to me and be like, oh, blah 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 about this girl, blah 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 about this girl, and then it would get turned around back on me, and then all that. And like what I've learned from that is like your friends like matter. Like your friends really do have like an influence on you, and it truly is best for you to be around like those positive friends, the ones that like uplift you, the ones who like talk kindly like about other people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like my mom is always telling me, you are who you hang around, you are who you hang around.
Exactly.
And like I used to like get mad about it and just being like, that person's not a bad person, like but it is true. Like, if your friend is talking crap on somebody to you, you were also getting caught talking crap. And that's just,
even if you didn't do it. Just because you were friends with them. All that happens.
And even though you may have a friend that does this and that and does stuff that you don't like, the chances of you also in the future doing those things or saying those things are very high.
Right.
Because you're so used to being around people that say this about people, do this to someone, and you think that that's okay because you're seeing somebody do it. You're seeing somebody else hurt people. And
exactly. I feel like 8th graders like are so excited to come to high school and become freshmen, because that's like exactly how I was. Like, I was so excited to like have friends, like come to high school, have more freedom or whatever, but then like it got to a point where all this stuff happened, and then my eyes opened, and I'm just like, after all of the stuff that like I've personally been through, like it has changed me like so much, like as a person. Like, I know who I am, and like I know who I can trust and who I can't trust. And like a lot of things, what I've learned is like a lot of things are just like better to keep to yourself. Like you like if in the back of your mind you're like, oh dang it, like I shouldn't have said that, like I said that to the wrong person, like oh well, it happened, you can't do anything about it now, but like just realize for the future that like the only person that you should fully put your trust in is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all. Thank you for listening today. Remember to always stay positive.